All right, Madam Chair, we're live.
Okay, well, that sounds good. All right. Today is June 2nd, Northborough Housing Authority Board meeting. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, GL 38, Section 18, and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Housing Authority will be conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance by members of the public will be permitted. This meeting will be live streamed, but will have no option for public participation. And with that, I will begin the meeting. Call the meeting to order. I can't see anybody, so I'm kind of guessing at what I'm doing here. Call the meeting to order. I believe everybody is in. Can you just say your name so I'll make sure? Brad?
Yeah, Brad here.
Okay.
Ray here.
Elaine? Ray? Okay.
Elaine here.
Okay, Andy?
Andy's here.
Okay, and Rita's here by phone. Okay, let's start off with the review and approval of the minutes, and Lynn has sent them all to everybody. Does anybody have any questions? And if not, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes.
So moved, Andy.
Andy? And
Second.
without any questions? Anybody have any questions? If not, I'll obtain a second.
Second, Brad.
Second, Brad. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, vote unanimous. Okay, Lynn, I can't see you, but you're the report of the executive director.
Okay. Okay, hi, everybody. So I have, right now I have 2 vacant elderly units. Both over at Center Drive. Actually, one just literally opened up today. So no problem. I've already pulled lists. I've already made a couple of offers on the first one. Still working on that one, and we'll work on the second one. Said all the family units are filled at this point, so just the 2 elderly. He opened up the community room this week. Just put up a sign, saying if you're not vaccinated, to please continue to wear a mask. But we did open everything up, as advised. We still have the plexiglass on the door, but that will come down soon. I'm going to start working on the annual and capital plan. Like I said, our fiscal year is December 31st. So generally, I need to start sometime in June with the annual plan, and then the capital plan. And then in the fall, we have a public forum with that for comments, but I will start to work on that. I did, so I'll talk about some projects, but I guess I just wanted to talk a little bit first about, before I get into projects, about that notice that I sent out, a couple of public housing notices from DHCD. One of them was, and that was kind of brought to my attention by my employees, about that new holiday. I don't know, that came out about what's it called? Juneteenth. Juneteenth Independence Day, which Governor Baker is assigning as a holiday for June 19th. And it is for Commonwealth employees of, obviously, of Massachusetts. Housing authorities are independent entities. So we are not obligated to have that holiday, but they're saying that, generally we do. It is recommended, or, whatever the situation is. But I wanted to run it by you guys, because if we are going to have it, it does need to be adopted into our personnel policy as listed as another official holiday. Is the town doing that, Andy? You guys do that? Are you doing that one?
At this point, I haven't heard any discussion about that at all, so my guess is no, since it's coming up very quickly.
Are town employees considered Commonwealth?
We're not,
Mass? No, you're not. You're not.
same situation as you are,
Yeah.
your staff.
Lynn, I have a question.
Yeah.
Isn't June 17th a holiday?
No,
And
this-
That's just the Boston holiday?
Yeah.
It's only
also my-
Boston.
It's also
Yeah.
my birthday, so I
Yeah.
always say they celebrate because of me.
What is that, Emancipation Day or?
Bunker Hill.
Bunker Hill Day for me.
Boston
It
celebrates.
is Emancipation
It's a
Day.
Suffolk County holiday only.
All right.
It's something
Well,
Suffolk County.
Lynn, it's like the marathon day. It's not everyone's got that day off except Suffolk County.
Right.
Why would we want to,
I mean,
Why
I
would we-
honestly, I just figured I needed to run it by. It doesn't really, it doesn't have a huge impact on me one way or another.
I
But-
have a comment to that, Lynn.
Bring it
I
out
would,
there.
if the town goes along with Juneteenth, if they do decide that it's a holiday, then I would think we would need to we should revisit it and go along, with the town. But if the town's not doing it right now,
Yeah,
I wouldn't worry about it. That's my thought.
I agree. I think it's something we should think about. I mean, we just
Yeah.
got it and,
yeah, absolutely.
honestly,
It's a
we've
Saturday.
been out- Right.
It's a
We've been out of
Saturday
the
this
office for how long?
Yeah.
I think, the day isn't going to make a lot of difference, but I think it's something that we should think. But I do agree, if the town is going to do it, then I think we should follow suit.
Okay, so why don't we just,
table
know,
it,
yeah.
table it.
say,
Mhm.
table it for right now, if that's what everybody wants to
Right.
do, and see what happens over the next year. And,
Yeah.
And revisit it if it becomes something, on a larger scale. With
Right,
other
exactly.
people.
Mm.
Uh,
I don't have any problem with that. And it sounds like the rest of the board doesn't have any problem with that.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
All right. I can't see you, so do you have anything else?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go on and just talk about a
Mhm.
couple of things that are going on with
Mhm.
some projects and stuff. On to the
Mhm.
next kind of line item, I guess, capital projects and plans. So DHCD also just issued a notice yesterday, which basically said that to all housing authorities, this notice is to inform you that we will be increasing component costs in capital planning by 25% effective June 7th, 2021. It says, you may have noticed that construction costs have increased drastically in the recent months. A review of projects that received low bid approval in the last 6 months showed an average of a 92% increase in construction costs from project creation to contract signing. It just says this 25% bump will serve as a temporary placeholder until the time. So I think, as far as what we have going on, which the only thing that we don't have that's gone out to bid as far as really large projects is the maintenance garage. So, obviously that's still kind of in play with a few things. So it does seem to make sense that we wouldn't probably want to bid that out right now anyway, with some construction costs with the way they are. But I did want to tell you that I did move a few things around in the capital plan. We decreased a scope of work on some some emergency lights in the hallway that we have, and so it decreased, it gave us a little bit more money, but we'd still have to come up with about 150,000 out of our own reserves, for the garage. And that's, like I said, not counting any of these inflatable prices. So my thoughts, if everybody else is on board, is I really am hoping that we can put in community CPA application and try to apply for some funds on the next go round. I mean, I've never really heard a definitive as to whether it's a yes or a no. But I think we should try. You know, I think I'd be willing to complete the application when the time comes, and unless I find out that it's definitely not a qualified project.
Andy, did Kathy Jubert give you any guidance on that? Were you going to talk to Kathy?
I have asked, and I did bring it up at the last CPC meeting that I attended, and I think we talked about it briefly before. And John Campbell, the chair, thought it possibly could qualify. He didn't have a real definitive answer, but I think Lynn's idea makes sense, that we should at least put in an application and I guess test the waters, because, as they said, the facility is going to help, with the maintenance aspect of the housing. So it is necessary, part of the project there. So.
But Andy, that goes through town meeting, right?
It does.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
no shot. There's no shot we're gonna get that. I think in this day and age right now, I think they're gonna say, how does that affect housing and everything else? So we can try, but it's not promising. At least
The only good thing about that, Brad, is once everything gets to town meeting, typically, it's been through the committee, they've vetted everything out, and in general, they all get good support. I can't think of a time where, one project has been denied, other than maybe there's been a few situations where people have a privately owned home that's historic, where there's some, questionable issues that came up, but that was quite a long time ago. But I think it's definitely worth trying at least.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because generally, if it gets the support of the committee, then usually, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, because when we put in the application before, the committee shut it down. So, like you said, I think, like Andy said, if the committee supports it, but I don't know. And, it's not like we probably can't come up with that much money. We can. But I just think at this point, with costs being inflated and so forth, I don't think it's worth moving. My feeling is things are too high right now for us to.
Why don't we do the first floor and leave the second open until the things slow down, cash? What's the first floor costing us, you remember?
I thought we couldn't do that because you were putting.
We decided, we didn't think the first floor would, you basically, I think, have to pick one design or the other, because once you put the first floor, I think it changes the whole design. I don't think it's just easy to throw on a second.
You have to do the whole project. You can't do half
first-
and then do another
yeah.
half later. It won't
The
work.
first floor doesn't give us a whole lot of additional space is what the whole problem is. So,
Right. You need to do 2 floors.
so when
really do.
is CPC, Andy, in the fall?
Yeah, I believe the applications will be due in November.
Yeah.
And then they start meeting, late in the year into the start of next year.
So I just think, unless anybody, if you guys think differently, but I just think with what I'm reading here and the inflated costs of construction right now, that we'd end up, it's just probably way too much money at this point. If we can, even if we can't get CPC, at least hopefully by that time, the costs are gonna be inflated the way they are anymore. The cost of lumber and everything. So, and in the meantime, like I said, when I do this capital plan, I'll see if there's anything else. I mean, we kind of already looked at it. I don't think there's much play, but you never know. You never know if any other kind of grant or anything else will come around. I definitely will keep my eyes and ears open. So, I think at this point, we'll just wait and see if things, kind of come down a little bit more at cost and so forth, because I think going ahead and, like you said, if it was going to be around 150, but if they're saying that, projects are coming in at a 92% increase, I mean, we could be in big trouble if that happens. So, I don't even know if they would approve it. So, that's that project. I know last month I told you about the window project. I did end up deciding on telling the contractor to get the correct windows. So he was not pleased, but he did order the wrong windows. He was supposed to, I'd explained last month that he was supposed to do a mock-up and then go ahead and order the windows. And he didn't do that. He did the mock-up. He ordered all the windows at the same time. The windows were not the right size. They fit in there, but they don't look the way they're supposed to look. The top and the bottom are supposed to line up, and they don't. So he tried to do a couple of different things with an overhang and a few other things to kind of offset. But my final decision was, no, it's not what we asked for. So he's actually changing 3 windows. So we just waiting, and he will do a mock-up this time. It's going to push it out a little bit, but it's a lot of money, and I want it to look the way we want it to look, and I don't feel that we should have to settle for something that wasn't our mistake. At first, he said he was going to fight. He was going to put in whatever it is to DHCD. He was going to
Change order.
no, not a change order. He was going to challenge it, basically, so that because he just said it was going to cost him money. But basically I said, I told him to go ahead and, challenge it. It certainly isn't the housing authority's fault that you didn't order the right windows, and B, you didn't wait to do the mock-up. And next thing I knew, he just said he would order the right windows. He wasn't going to challenge it. So I'm just hoping that we don't have to wait forever. But in the meantime, everything's buttoned up, and it's not like, it's just going to be a delay until they come in. But hopefully not too long.
Is,
So what, is somebody going to say something?
no, is that their dumpster out front there? And
They took it now. It's gone.
Okay.
They packed it up for now. So everything's just kind of sealed up until they come back, and they'll do the mock-up. I think the change in the window size will look nicer than what they had proposed to put in there. So that's that project. I'm still waiting on the cabinets for 96 Northgate. They told me those were going to be in on May 20th, and as of now, they're still not in. It's kind of the story of what's going on now, unfortunately. And then I did include in here the low bid approval for something I do need to vote on. It was a low bid approval for the new HVAC system for East Main Street. I did send you guys that one, right?
Yes, you did.
I'm sorry, the one?
It's it's performance
The Board Award resolution?
Yep, it's for performance plumbing and heating in the amount of $40,600. They were
Right,
the
yeah.
they were the lowest bidder on the new HVAC system that's going to go in over on
East Main Street.
And believe it or not, they were the only bidder. They were the
Wow.
Mhm. I'm not surprised.
the only bidder we got on this project, which I haven't seen that in a long time. I haven't seen, usually we get, I mean, I don't know if it's something with HVAC, but usually we get a lot of bidders on these projects, or at least a half dozen most of the time is what I generally say, but the project was
Well, see, this
estimated.
is a lot of job openings.
What's that?
And I'm just being facetious. Pass on that. Well, so we need to have a board vote on the Board Award resolution to award the contractor performance plumbing and heating. Do we need to vote on that, Lynn?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so we need a motion to accept it, right? In the amount
Yeah,
of
the lowest bidder. Yep.
40,600? Okay. Can I have a motion, please?
So
To
moved.
performance plumbing and heating in the amount of 40,600.
So moved.
I'm sorry, who said that?
Ray?
Ray,
Oh, Ray, thank you, Ray. With any other questions? If not, I'd accept the second.
Elaine, second.
Elaine, thank you, Elaine. All in favor?
All right.
Everybody,
Aye.
I can't see it. I'm assuming it's in live. Motion carries. Okay, thank you.
and then
Lynn, what else do you have?
the last thing too was, so I'm still waiting for them to come out and do a survey on the land out there for the new units. I did check in with them last week because I just wanted to make sure. I didn't know if they had maybe been out here and didn't tell me, or we didn't see them, but she said that the request had been put in, but that it should be any day now is what they told me. So we're still waiting on that. The NAHC did the affordable units. They are holding their rents the same for the next year. They're not changing. I notified the 4 residents over there. Their rent is gonna remain the same. They had gone down, I believe, last year. They've gone down a couple of times. So those are still remaining the same. So I'll renew their leases.
Wow.
And I think that's pretty much it.
Okay. All right, well, thank you. And we'll move on then to the next item on the agenda, which is the approval of the payment of the bills. And I know Lynn sent out the warrant showing us the bills. And I'm wondering if everybody's had a chance to look at it. And if they have, I need a motion to accept the warrant in the amount of $50,790.36.
Motion made, Brad.
Thank you, Brad. Any questions? Okay, I'll accept a second.
Andy, second.
I'm sorry, who? Sorry, who made the second?
Ray?
Oh, sorry, Ray. Thank you. I can't see, so that's why I'm asking. Okay, all in favor? Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Unanimous. Okay, thank you. All right. With that, is there any other business to come before the board? And let me say, I have something to come before the board. And what I'd like to say is that this will be our last Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
We don't meet for July. I don't know why all of a sudden I can't get on, but I'll fix it later. We usually don't meet for July and August, but we do come back in September. And I'm going to say that our next meeting will be in September, and it will be in person at the Housing Authority. So, and with that, we have to thank Andy because he's done a remarkable job, except for my computer, on all the meetings. Does
been good,
anybody
though.
have anything else?
And if there's
Does anybody-
anything that absolutely requires a vote, which I don't know that there will be, I'll reach out to everybody for
Right,
a
exactly.
special meeting if anything comes up over the summer that can't wait till September. Then I'll notify everybody.
Oh, thank you for that. That's very good. Does anybody have anything else? Any other questions? Any thoughts or whatever? If not, we're going to end this meeting and I'll need a motion to adjourn.
Elaine, so moved.
Oh, Elaine, thank you. Elaine. A
Andy,
second?
Andy second.
Oh, Andy second. Okay, all in favor? Of course it's aye. Ayes. Everybody said aye, I'm assuming. Okay,
I'd love
with
to vote
that.
ag- I'd love to vote against
Yeah,
something
have
sometime.
some summer, everybody. Enjoy your summer, be safe, and I'll see you all in September.
Thank you, Rita.
It's good.
All right,
Thank
all right.
you all.
Thank you, everybody.